Are you listening? This ain't no quiet thing. We're screaming out our lungs. Hey, are you listening? Hey, are you there? Hey, are you listening? Or do you just not care?
Hey, are you listening? This is a podcast exploring the past, present, and future of Christian music. My name is Joel. I'm here with my good friend Brandon, and we connected over a mutual love of some particular artists, but also have different tastes when it comes to music. So we get to experience some new stuff from each other and invite some friends along for the ride. Brandon, we have a friend who's going to join us in just a little bit, but how are you doing today?
I'm doing really good. I discovered something this week that made me really happy.
Oh, I can't wait to hear about it.
So recently I've noticed that whenever I would drink something with a lime flavor, I could not stand it. Would have to spit it out, and I thought that I was starting to develop a hatred of lime. And it wasn't intentional. And but then I tried a one of the energy drinks I enjoy. They released a like lime flavor, and I was like, "All right, this is the final try." And I tried it, and I really enjoyed it. So me and lime are back on good terms.
The love is back. What are you going to do with all those other lime things, though? They're still kicked to the curb.
One of them's just like sitting in the fridge, and it's so weird because it's like lime and dragon fruit, but the lime is just so like it's like a weird film on like your tongue and your throat if you drink it.
There can only be one. Only have eyes for that one. Okay. Well, that sounds awesome. Well, I'm really grateful that you were able to patch things up in that sense. Yeah, I'm excited for today. We get to have some fun conversations, but before we get into all those things, let's talk about what's been in the news.
What's in the news? What's in the news?
Brandon, big news got dropped this week, at least for me, maybe for you. A couple of artists that we like have new music. One released new music and one announced new music, I believe. Is that right? So I'll cover the announced. So one of my favorite bands, Switchfoot, announced that they have a new record coming out called Forever Now this summer in June. This is, I don't even know. I've been listening to Switchfoot since their first record. And I think I've bought every single one of them since then. So I'm excited. What about you? What's your level of excitement when it comes to a new Switchfoot record?
I think I'm really excited. I think Switchfoot was a band that for years, like I would love like the singles off the album, but then really enjoy the deeper cuts. But I think I've kind of come along. So when I saw the news, I was excited because I think that immediately kind of stands out as, oh, you assume that's definitely a top 10 list, top album of the year, like maybe like album of the year.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's actually like a lot of kind of anticipation and pressure on a release like that.
Yeah. Who's to say? I don't think they've put out a bad record. I definitely enjoy some more than others, but I don't think they've ever put out a bad record. And so, yeah, we'll see how this one goes. I think there's a single coming out pretty soon.
That threw me off because I thought the single was out. So I spent like 10 minutes trying to search
Trying to
for
find it.
Yeah.
I think it's later on this month. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that hitting. Fill us in on the other one.
Yeah, so Jason Dunn's side band Dunner, they released an album just kind of like, I feel like it's out of the blue because I don't remember seeing anything about it. And haven't listened to it yet because they released it and it wasn't on like Spotify. So I started thinking maybe it's just like an exclusive, but now it is uploaded to Spotify. So I don't know. It's weird because I've never thought about how that stuff works. Where if you're late, like I wonder how many listens you miss if you're late or if you're, that might have been their design where it was like, we're just going to release this a couple of days later to see what tracks. But yeah, because I know like there's been bands that like midnight, you'll check. Like if Toby Mac's releasing something, then midnight that single will be on Spotify or Apple or whatever. And so I just thought it was interesting that it wasn't like immediately on there, or at least when I checked. And this would have been probably like at noon or so on Friday.
I don't think I knew about Dunner. Is this he's released stuff under this name before?
Yeah, I think when he left, there's this really interesting thing where it was like Jason Dunn, then there's Dunner, then there's I think it's like Lights Go Down or something. So there was like when he left Hawk Nelson, there became kind of his solo stuff, but also probably 3 or 4 like side projects going on. And so it was really interesting to see. But I also felt like a lot of it was releasing like very similar stuff.
Yeah.
So it wasn't this weird thing where it's like, well, Donor over here is the punk thing, but then Stars Go is like country, like so Jason Dunn or whatever.
Why the different avenues? Yeah. What's funny is I feel like I saw in the last couple of weeks that he announced a solo record that's coming out. And then all of a sudden just Shadow dropped this record, which apparently isn't the solo record that he has coming out. So he's just surprising us all over the place.
We need to have Jason Dunn on so that he can explain.
Set the record straight.
I think it's really cool. I got to see his, I don't know if it's like acoustic coffee shop tour or whatever, last January. And it's one of my favorite shows I think I've ever gone to.
Yeah.
Like it was just that good of a show. There's a lot of storytelling, a lot of stories behind the songs. And I love that stuff. I feel like sometimes like the stage and lights can be distracting. So it's cool when you're feeling like you're just sitting with this person and they're just telling you stories.
Yeah, I love that too. I think that's awesome. All right, so let's talk a little bit about what we've been listening to lately. For me, I think I'm still struggling a little bit with like, when is this new music going to start kicking in pretty? And we're getting announcements of it, which is great. But it's been rough this year so far to kind of get there. I will say, though, this week, Strings and Heart, a band that I've talked about on here before, just released a new single called Eyes on Him. And it's a cool little jam. And so it's fun to get something new. It came, I just actually got my vinyl copy of their record Plastic Wine. I think they just released those, but it's fun that they're like putting new music out already too. So yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. Well, if you're looking for some other stuff to listen to, might I suggest Colony House's Audio Tree sessions.
Okay.
Audio Tree, it's pretty cool. There's been a few bands, Me Without You, Last Bison, I think Tedious and Brief, another one I listened to. It is really cool. It's just them kind of in just like a jam session where it's them playing some of their stuff, but it has that like, it's live, but I feel like it's this kind of mixed where it's not like live of a show where you have all this applause. It's more of them just in a room
live in
playing
studio,
it. Yeah. And I feel like those things are always turn out really good. I feel like they have like the heart of the real release, but they also have like a different spin on it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I love Audio Tree stuff. One of my favorite bands, Pine Grove, has an Audio Tree, maybe 2 sessions. Yeah, they do really good work over there. So that's cool. All right. Well, let's check the mailbag.
Check the mail. Check the mail. Who, what, when, how, why? Check the mail.
All right, it's time to check the mail. Today's question comes to us from friend of the show, Chris Mims. This is kind of a lengthy one. He asked this: where is your line of demarcation for classic rock? If you listen to your local classic rock station, you're likely to hear the Chili Peppers, Foo Fighters, and Linkin Park alongside the likes of Zeppelin, the Eagles, and the Beatles. Where is your delineation? So where do you draw the line when something becomes classic versus like still kind of now? And I guess take that and put it in the CCM world a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that 10 years before you were born. So I think that if it's, or I would say maybe even before you were born, like it's classic. So I think for me, like I would see like anything in the 80s is like classic.
Yeah.
But I also think that something like in the 2000s could be classic, like for someone younger.
Yeah.
So I think that honestly, it's kind of just up to person, would be my opinion on there.
Yeah. It's funny you say it that way. I was playing a song actually from our guest today for my
Hmm.
kids this week, and I was playing it, and the first question my kids asked, they were like, "Is this new?" It's like if it's music that Dad listens to, then it's old music. It's
Uh-huh.
classic music. So that is an interesting way to kind of think through it a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the 80s is usually that line for me. Like
Hmm.
if it came out in the 80s or before, then it's classic. But I'm kind of the old guy in the room, so I can definitely see where like a lot of bands I listened to in the 90s, those guys aren't young anymore, and a lot of them are still hammering stuff out. But I can see where I mean their tours these days are like everybody's old that goes to them. So
I think that's like, there's recently people have been like, yeah, 2001 was like 25 years ago. So it's like, you think as a kid, like my mom would like play like Bon Jovi or something. And
yeah.
it's like, oh, this is classic. But it was probably 10, maybe 15 years old.
Hmm.
So I don't know if that's like, if you're stepping away from people, I don't know, because I feel like no one wants to admit that like they're getting old. But I also sit there sometimes and I think like, yeah, the 2000s were like fresh and all and adventurous. But I'm
Yeah.
also like, for like our nephew, whenever we talk to him about like there was a time before YouTube, it's like he cannot fathom
Right.
a time where there was no YouTube, where it was like you have to watch the show at 5 o'clock and that's the only time you can watch it. Because for him, it's like, no, I can watch this anytime I want and any episode I want.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, that is fascinating for sure. TiVo came along and changed the whole
Hmm.
game. We got DVRs. So Mims asks a follow up. He said, as a follow up, do you feel the Christian music machine has forgotten much of the older music, even worship music from a decade ago, even though still fully embracing the worship music trend? It's kind of a big question to think
Hmm.
through. One, have we like forgotten the stuff and the artists of the past today? Like if we walk up to a random person in our churches that listens to Christian music, do they know anything about some of these old artists, or
Yeah.
are they pretty much just stuck in whatever worship music exists
Hmm.
today? What do you think about that?
Yeah, because I mean, like, so pulling up Wow Hits 2006, so 20 years ago, you have your Stephen Chris Chapmans, you have your Mercy Me's and all, but there's also a lot of names on here where I feel like your average person doesn't know, an Audio Adrenaline or Barlow Girl. I mean, even Jars of Clay. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like when's the last time you would have heard them played on whatever Super Chick? Like, there's a lot of I feel like it's kind of this. I, I think there's a cynical answer, then there's like the other answer.
Yeah.
And I think cynically, it's like, if you can't make money, why would you promote that? So it's like, if you have a record label, you're going to push, I don't know, Mercy Me is like, man, they were the groundbreaking band. But then
Yeah.
if you owned the rights to Audio Adrenaline, you'd be like, yeah, these were actually the guys that were trailblazing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that it comes down to sometimes like, how can you make like money and all? Um, but I don't know. I feel like there's a place to do it. Like I think Radio U, like that's where I look at like, I think that sometimes there's a cynical thing, but then I think like Radio U, I think they do a really good job because on their regular station, they have a good mix of old and new. And I mean, they've always played people like 21 Pilots just as much as Gable Price and Friends or
Yeah.
John Rubin. And they even have a station that's just dedicated to throwback. So it's all stuff that's like, I don't know, maybe like 10 years old or whatever. But I mean, like you'll see like a Jones Etta and Afters and, these bands pop up. So I feel like it's like, it has been forgotten, but I think that not everyone has forgotten about it.
Yeah. I definitely think that people that grew up like in the church and this was what they're like the soundtrack of their young lives. Definitely
Uh-huh.
remember this stuff. I wonder how much they go back. Sometimes I'll look at like streams on Spotify or Apple Music
Yeah.
just to get a sense of like, are the artists that like I loved growing up like still like
Yeah.
still relevant today in the scheme? And like I'll go look up the streaming numbers for like a DC Talk, and I'm just amazed at like how little it is compared to some of the stuff that's out today with I mean with them being the hugest thing in Christian music for years. How it seems like some of that is so forgotten today.
I feel like too, it's like it's all about like you have to like play ball.
Yeah.
And I think that for some of those artists, it's kind of like they, I think good and bad. There's artists that don't want to change with the times. And so it's like, you know, we talk a lot about how back in the day, all these songs was about like, oh, we're going to go like kill the enemy and we've got like the gun of God or whatever, you know, like, but there's a lot of like war imagery.
Yeah.
But it's like nowadays, it's like, oh, maybe there's a better way to do that. So it's like, even looking at an example like that, there's people that hear that and they go, oh, that you're watering it down. You're making the message weaker. Then there's other people that are like, yeah, we found a better way to do this. So I think that sometimes there's bands that like, you know, record labels are like, we don't want you to be authentic. And then I think there's other record labels that sometimes like the labels they're not asking you to be fake. They're just saying like, hey, you like don't go on your platform and make a political statement.
Right.
You know, it's not saying you can't support
Yeah.
this candidate. It's just saying, hey, that's not going to help anyone.
Yeah. 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 I think you're right in the whole play ball thing, because the artists that you have seen continue to have success. One, they're still out there doing things,
Yeah.
but they've just kind of learned to fit the mold of like where the industry is today, to write songs that can be played on K-Love, you know, and let that be kind of what you do. And so I feel like it does require putting yourself in a box a little bit to continue to find success and not be forgotten.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know how all this is going to play out. What I do love is seeing a lot of those artists from back in the day come back together, start making new music.
Yeah.
And so there is a move to kind of recreate what once existed. And but we're going to have to like find the space for it and figure out like where is this stuff getting played and who's going to be listening to it. Yeah.
And I think you only have a finite time too. So it's kind of like if all you do is play like the old stuff. I don't know. That's why like I said, I think that it goes like there's good and bad. Like it both makes sense that you need to innovate. And I mean, a great example is working like at a senior center. I tell people all the time that I feel like my job is how can I take like proven ways of doing stuff, but also infuse like new school ideas to that.
Yeah.
Because it's like you don't want all these people to be left behind, but also like you can't operate a business or social media like you did 20 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear that. Good question, Chris. We also have a comment coming from friend of the show, Andrew. He comes at us with this comment: Bojangles now has iced coffee. So for all of everybody who follows the show just for the latest Bojangles news, there you go.
Don't they have like shrimp too? Or no, it's the Bojangler. It's their
What is the Bojangles?
fish sandwich.
They have a fish sandwich?
Joel, what would it take for us to do like a live podcast from a Bojangles
From
or
a
the parking
Bojangles?
lot of a Bojangles?
I'm in.
What would our listeners have to do?
You know what's interesting about this? If you go to a Bojangles, at least the ones that I frequent today, they're playing Christian music over the radio inside the store. So I feel like there's a fit there.
All I'm saying is that we need to have, they also have the Bo's house salad. We just need to find when Andrew's free. We need to fly Zach Patton over to South Carolina. We just sit down and
Yeah, all the money that we make from this podcast, we'll just put into plane tickets, and
there you go, right there. Send us your donations. We'll go to Bojangles. Joel will personally order the Bojangler and eat it too.
well, sure. If Bojangles chooses to sponsor our podcast, then we can make something like that happen. So
Yeah, we just need Bojangles and energy drink sponsor, and we'll be good to go.
I'll just stick with Bojangles, but it's fine. Well, Andrew, thanks for keeping us up to date on all of the Bojangles happenings. So this is the place for you if you're into Christian music and you're into fried chicken. You found the right spot. If you have a question or a comment, you can reach out to us at heyareyoullisteningpod@gmail.com, and we would love to chat about it on the podcast. All right, let's play a game.
Let's play, let's play. It's time to play a game. Let's play, it's time to play a game.
All right, Joel. So this week we've got a new game, and it comes with good news. All right,
I love good news.
we've got 5 bands that are going to be volunteering at our church.
Oh,
okay,
sweet.
yeah. So I've got the 5 areas they want to be in. All right, and you've got to match where they're going to be at. Okay. So I'm going to give you the 5 areas. The problem is that you don't know the 5 bands I'm going to ask. So
Okay.
when I give you the first band, you're like, for instance, like the Toby Mac's not on here. But
Okay.
if I was to say Toby Mac and you say kids ministry, you can't use him again. So the next band
Okay.
could be Forrest Frank, and you're like, oh man. So you don't know who's coming next. Okay.
Okay, gotcha.
I'll give you your 5 areas: our safety team, kids ministry, greeting team, youth group, and tech team.
Okay.
All right. So their first band that's going to show up and volunteer are our good friends with Colony House.
I'm gonna go tech team.
Tech team? Okay. You just think they're going to know their way around the computers and
I mean,
whatnot?
they're creative guys. Like,
Okay.
they're probably into technology. I don't know.
All right. Our next person is, I'm not sure how familiar you are with her, but Tyrion. She was a member of Toby Mac's Diver City band. She was a
Okay.
vocalist there, and now she's doing her solo stuff on Goatee Records.
Okay, remind me the other areas I have left.
You've got safety team, kids ministry, greeting team, and youth group.
Okay.
If it helps, I think Tyrion, I think she's like 20, or maybe, I would say like she's younger than 30.
Safety. Wait, I'm not answering the question. I'm thinking in safety, kids, youth, and what was the other one?
She's 29 years old.
Safety, kids, youth, and
Greeting.
Okay. Let's just let's put her in youth group.
Youth group? Okay.
29's a good age.
All right. Gable Price and friends.
Greeting team.
I was thinking, I feel like they're perfect for that.
Yeah.
All right. So you got safety team and kids ministry left.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
Strings and heart.
Strings and heart. Kids.
Kids ministry.
Yep. It's gonna be really interesting to see who's doing safety team.
All right. Yeah. So we have one final person, and this is the safety team. Okay.
Okay.
Grace Graber.
Awesome. Grace, she seems tough.
Mm-hmm.
I think she can handle it.
I think that's good. So yeah, we got safety team, Grace Graber, kids ministry, Strings and Heart, greeting team, Gable Price and friends, youth group Tyrion, and rounding it out is Colony House doing the tech team.
All right. Yeah. I feel pretty good about all those.
I think that's pretty good. It's gonna be an interesting church service. Do
Yeah.
you know what Sunday that is yet? So we can tell our listeners.
Hopefully it's Easter because we need people. So come on down to Somerville, South Carolina on Easter if you want to meet your heroes.
How bad would you feel if one person did show up and they honestly thought that their favorite artist was gonna be
I
here?
would welcome them with open arms. And maybe
buy
Jared
some
Byers will be
Bojangles.
here that day and we could be like, there's a guy who's in a band.
Gosh, I feel like every time I look up Jared, I find out like 5 more bands he was in.
Yeah.
So
We got to have Jared back on.
that's gonna be a game one day. It's just, was Jared Byers in this
Yeah,
band?
that's a really good one. All right. Well, let's transition over and meet our guests for today. Well, today is a really exciting day for us because we do have a special guest with us. You probably know him as the singer, bass player of one of your favorite bands, Idle Threat. Join us today in welcoming Zeke McKinney. Zeke, how's it going, man?
It's going great, man. I'm super thankful to be here with you guys.
Yeah, we are thrilled to have you on.
Mm-hmm.
I love Idle Threat so
Mm-hmm.
much. And so this is really fun for me to be able to have you jump on here with us and talk, just talk through some of the questions that have been going on in my head. But it's fun just to get to spend some time with you too. So
Yeah, it's a blessing to be here.
yeah, well, we'll just kind of jump straight into it. Just kind of going back in your life. How did music become like something that you were passionate about? What got you into music to begin with? Who are some of your favorite artists growing up? Just kind of all that background stuff musically.
Yeah, I feel like I could go a million different directions with this question. But, so my dad has been a musician my whole life. And so it was very much passed down to me. It wasn't something that I just like went out and discovered on my own. Every car ride I was in the car with my dad, I would get a history lesson on every song that came on the radio, and
Love that.
like, you know who this is, son? And you know when they recorded this and all that stuff. Like back when I didn't care and I was 6 years old, and brought up in a very musical house. Um, and so music has always been an important part of my life, even before I personally started pursuing it.
Yeah.
Uh, Before music, so I have a twin brother, identical twin brother who looks
Mm,
just like me. My name's Zeke, his name is Zion. We both play music. But before we discovered music, basketball was like everything for us.
mm,
I wanted to be Steve Nash. I wanted to be in the NBA. Like we played school ball, rec ball, church ball, AAU. We did everything. As I got older, though, it just became clear that wasn't in the cards for me. God didn't make me to be an NBA player. Um, and it was right around that time I really just started to like fall in love with music for me.
mm, yeah.
And I picked up the bass. Um, I started playing bass. I started singing, and pretty soon I picked up guitar because I wanted to start songwriting. But really, what like drove my love for music was my dad. And then when I was 13, when I started pursuing music for myself, that's when I found all of this like alternative music that
Yeah.
became it just increased my love for music. So that's kind of like a really short summary, but
Yeah. Who are some of those like first artists that really got you excited?
um so I guess besides the ones that I grew up with, well, it's actually kind of funny. So my dad's been a musician my whole life, but he also existed in like the Christian music side of things.
Yeah.
Um, that's actually why my family ever moved to Nashville. I was born in Evansville, Indiana. My dad's band got a record deal when I was 6 years old,
Mm,
and they signed with an old record label called Pamplin Records, and they were down here in Nashville.
hmm.
And because they signed that record deal, we moved down here. And so at that time, I mean, gosh, I was just full of like, our house was full of like all kinds of music, but also like alternative Christian music.
Yeah.
And me and my brother, when we were 6 years old, I don't know why, but we attached to the OC Supertones.
I love it.
Like we loved the OC Supertones when I was little. Um, who would have thought ska music for a 6 year old?
I'm a huge Five Iron Frenzy fan, so I get it.
Really,
Yeah.
really. Yeah. As I got older, I kind of got out of ska, but then it was when I was 13, I started finding a bunch of bands on my own.
Mhm.
And honestly, I'd say like two of the biggest ones was probably Reliant K, um, and Mayday Parade was a
Mm,
huge band for me,
yeah.
Mhm.
believe it. That album, A Lesson in Romantics, was like enlightening for me. It was
Mm.
like just genre wise, I was like, I've never heard anything like this. So, but yeah.
That's awesome. I've got to know like what your dad's band was at this point.
Yeah, he was in a band called Spin Around at the
Okay.
time. Um, they put out a couple records. They were kind of like Christian alternative funk,
Okay.
kind of like funk pop alternative. Yeah, it was they had some pretty good songs. I'm a
Hmm.
little biased, but yeah, um, yeah,
I'm
that was the band.
I'm gonna have to find that and go check it out for sure.
It might be pretty tough to find.
So yeah, you're finding these artists that you really like, and you said like you picked up the bass and all. So how does that turn into you playing music? Like, do you remember like the first time you went to sit down to like write a song, or the first time you got up on stage to like perform like your song or cover a song or whatever?
Yes, I do. At least the first time playing live, I remember that. Me and my brother both took piano lessons growing
Mm-hmm.
up. Um, but for some reason, it really stuck with him, and it didn't stick with me.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
And looking back now, I'm 31 now. I like regret that. I'm like, dang,
mm.
dude, I wish I could play piano now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he still does. He's a great piano player. But for some reason, it just didn't stick with me. So when I was in eighth grade, I was about 13 years old. My brother and some friends um, wanted to start a band for the talent show, the eighth
Mm-hmm.
grade talent show at school.
Awesome.
And one of our friends, Brian, he played drums, and another one of our friends, Jordan, he played guitar. And so they were all together, and they were like, "Man, like okay, like Zion is like, I play keys, and I guess I can sing." Jordan's like, "I play guitar," and Brian's like, "I play drums." And who's gonna play bass? And Zion goes, "I have a brother." And so I, of course, was like, "Yes, I want to do this." And I just really love playing bass. Like
Mm-hmm.
I just fell in love with it. I remember we practiced our butts off and we played How to Save a Life by the Fred
Nice.
at our eighth grade talent show, and we won. And I just remember that being like a really like pivotal moment
Mm-hmm.
of
Yeah.
I'm playing live um in front of like all my friends, and it was just like a cool moment where it was like, wow, this is cool.
Mm-hmm.
This
Mm.
is fun. I want to keep doing this. So
I really love that. That's awesome.
yeah.
So, how do you move from that eighth grade talent show band into starting Idle Threat? Yeah. What did that process look like?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, there was a lot of years, not a lot of years, but just a couple years from like 13 to 16 were really, really hard years in my life.
Mm,
Um, but I ended up, gosh, so much happened. I was 13. I gave my life to Jesus when I was 13. I discovered my love for music when I was 13, and my parents got divorced when I was 13.
mm,
It was really hard. It was a really ugly divorce.
mm,
And I think that only grew both of those things, both of the other things of
Mm-hmm.
like me wanting Christ, wanting like the security and the peace he was offering me outside of my family,
mm,
but then also like I would get lost in this world of alternative music,
Mm-hmm.
and it felt like a safe place to go where that this music understood all of these crappy feelings that I had,
mm,
Um, so for a couple of years, like I just started really like getting better at music, started discovering more music, more bands. And when I was in high school, um, um, I went to I went to public school for 1 year, and then finished out high school at like a private Christian school. It's called Ezel Harding
mm,
in Antioch and Nashville. And there's pretty much only one other guy that I knew of in that school who liked the same music that I did.
mm.
And that is JJ. That is our drummer.
Mm-hmm.
So me and JJ went to high school together, and
Awesome.
we discovered that we liked the same music. He started introducing me to some other stuff, much heavier than Mayday Parade, and we're
Mm-hmm.
like,
Yeah.
we just like we just always in high school we were always like talking about the music that we liked, and we were like, man, one day
Mm,
we're gonna
Mm-hmm.
do this. Like we're gonna do this ourselves. Um, so it kind of started with me and JJ's friendship, but it didn't really become like real until Ernie joined the picture. And Ernie plays guitar and does the screaming
Hmm.
vocals.
Yeah.
Um, Throughout high school, we had tried to invite friends in to like start like a group, but none of them like really like wanted it as bad as we did, or were as committed, or maybe weren't as good, and it just didn't work out.
Mm.
But then, so this is like the last piece that really made Idle Threat begin was Ernie. I went to church with Ernie,
Hmm.
and I noticed that Ernie, he was a year older than me, so I wasn't super close with him. I knew of him, but he had tattoos and gauges. And so I was like, man, I profiled him. I was like, he like I do. And there would be times where we'd be playing in the worship band, and during rehearsal, he'd start playing like a Chiodos riff or something, and I was like, wow, okay, all right,
That's the
this
guy.
guy's cool. Yeah. Um, so I asked him to come jam with us sometime, and it just clicked, and we were like,
Hmm.
let's do this, let's do like, and we all wanted it, and that's really when Idle Threat was
Hmm.
was I think, yeah.
So you guys have a pretty diverse sound. You spoke a little bit about it, but what are the influences that drive that?
Dude, so I definitely like the lightest guy in the band. Like I like emo and pop punk and stuff like that. Um JJ, he kind of got me into some heavier music. He was really into metalcore at the time, so that's when he introduced me to like, gosh, The Devil Wears Prada,
Yeah.
August Burns for Today. Like I just got into a bunch of those bands, Christcore bands. And Ernie was also into some heavier stuff. He was really into like Norma Jean, Maylene and the Sons of Disaster.
Mm.
Um, Gosh, he also loves Manchester Orchestra.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Orchestra, so that's kind of on the indie alternative side of that.
Yeah. Great
So
band.
we're all just kind of eclectic. But I think I've always driven like the really melodic side of it, like wanting to sing and wanting to I'm not definitely not against any heavier aspects, but I feel like it's really born out of us being eclectic and then clashing together
Hmm.
and then just working it out.
Mm.
Yeah. But
That
that's definitely where it comes from for sure.
I feel
Yeah.
like that's part of what I've been wondering too is because you have both of these elements that I can play like an Idle Threat song to my kids or even to somebody like at our church and I play something like Simon and
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh man, this is a great song." And then I'm like, I'll play something else off the record and it's like, "Oh, same band."
Yeah.
Um and but like you guys, the blend of those things like work together so well in what you're able to do. And that's part of what I was wondering is like, yeah, how is the tension like when it comes to putting these songs together? So it's cool to kind of hear some of that. I like the
Yeah.
idea of like
Sometimes,
fighting it out.
yeah, I was gonna say sometimes it really locks in and we're like, yeah, that's great. Other times, tension is the best word to describe
Hmm.
it.
Yeah.
It's like arguing, just like, no, that's dumb. We're like, no, that like doesn't fit. And then we just like keep working until we find something that we're all excited about.
Yeah.
That is what makes the sound of Idle Threat.
Yeah. I love that. And I think that's where all the best things come out of is tension.
Mm,
Because I think none of us like want if if you guys were all the way this way, then
Hmm.
you'd be missing so much. And it's the same both ways. Like I feel like that about life and just life in general so often that we never like to live in tension. Like tension is
Hmm.
uncomfortable for us, but I feel like a lot of like even following Jesus, what he calls us to is to pretty much live a life of tension all the time.
yeah,
Like how do I live a life of grace and truth at the same time? It's a constant fight for tension, and that exists in our relationships with people too. And so I think it's fun to see it like in practice in your music. I think that's
yeah,
cool.
yeah. I once heard a really wise man say he was a brilliant musician. He used to be like like MD at our church. He wasn't like the worship leader, but he'd be like the music director, and he'd be the guy that like in our ears, he'd be like saying like go to the 5 chord or the 6 chord or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but he said music is all about tension and release.
Mm.
Um, and the more time I think about that, the more I realize that he's right.
Mm.
It's so true. Like those
Mhm.
moments, what makes the moment of release in a song so good is the tension that built up to it,
Yeah.
right? And then I just think about how applicable that is to life and the way that God made it. Like no one, none of us would know the joy or how sweet release feels
Mm.
if we hadn't felt the tension that preceded it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it wouldn't feel good. It would just be. That's it.
Mm.
Release is so like beautiful because of the tension that precedes it.
Mm.
And
It,
it's the same with the way that God made life.
yeah. It reminds me of one of your new tracks, Evermind, that I think there is this a little bit like chaotic build and
Mhm.
tension filled build up to this moment, and then release hits in a big way.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like that's such a good example of that. I
Hmm.
love that song. So,
Totally it.
how did you guys then get from there? Like, how did Tooth and Nail come into the picture? I'm always fascinated, especially these days, to see like new artists coming on Tooth and Nail. I've been listening to Tooth and Nail albums for years and years and years. And I feel like a few years ago, I was like, what's new out on Tooth and
Mhm.
Nail?
Yeah.
And that's part of what led me to you guys. But
Really.
how did that whole thing happen? How did Tooth and
Yeah.
Nail happen?
Yeah. It's kind of a crazy story. So we know some guys in Nashville who are also on Tooth and Nail. They're in a band called Loyals.
Mm-hmm.
And we know one of the guys in the band, and we reached out to him because basically we had done our first EP, Grown Tired. Um, little secret, we did an EP before Grown Tired, but we deleted the internet because um,
They always tell you to put the first book in a drawer and never release it. So,
yeah, yeah, yeah. So we did our first EP, Grown Tired. Um, And then the second one, which was Nothing is Broken for Good, we were definitely feeling, I guess, a lot of like good tension growing up in the band, or like we feel ready for the next step.
yeah.
Like we really feel like this is a really great batch of songs. We believe in it and we want to pitch it.
Mm.
Like we just want to shoot it out there and just see what we can do. And so we pitched it to a few labels that we were interested in. And of course, Tooth and Nail was one of those. We
Yeah.
all grew up with Tooth and Nail bands. And at Tooth and Nail, we had a connection through our friend, and so, but basically through him, um, it was kind of like a cold email. Like
Mm.
we sent them the EP, and we're like, and basically within 24 hours they replied,
Mm.
and
Mm.
they were like, hey, like let's talk, and so we just started talking, and the Lord led it to where it is today, which is kind of crazy.
It's really cool to like, I mean, all the bands that you named earlier that, your bandmates were into and stuff, are bands that come from that, like as a heritage. And
Mhm.
so,
Mm.
even seeing you guys at Furnace Fest a year and a half ago, it's cool because it's almost like we're here with so many of these bands that impacted and influenced us. And now like we're getting to play the stage too. I can't imagine what
Oh,
kind of feeling that is.
it was awesome. That was one of our favorite shows we've ever got. That was like one of the peak moments of Idle Threat for
Mm,
sure. And just to be like at that point, we were almost 10 years in and still be having like peak moments was like
yeah.
just a blessing, man.
Mm,
Just we were so thankful and we had a blast.
that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Mm.
I'm curious, you guys went to Furnace Fest on your own volition,
I
right?
did. Brandon
And
hasn't
right?
been, but
Who are you there to see? It must have been more than one artist.
yeah, no, a lot of I went twice in the reboot. Went to the first one and then to not the last one, but the one before. And so yeah, I mean, a lot of bands that I grew up loving, like Five Iron Frenzy, the
Okay.
Juliana Theory. I'm trying to think who I went to see even that
Mm-hmm.
time. Who was there? May was there the time before. Um, Stretch Armstrong.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Um, yeah, bands like that.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's
it's
awesome.
I miss like the highlight for my when I was in the band that I was in. Our highlight was getting to play Cornerstone. It was
Oh,
my next to last show with my band before I left to go to seminary, and
hmm.
so it was fun being at Furnace Fest because it kind of felt like stepping back in time a little bit to something that used to exist that's like hard to create,
It
even though
is.
it's a little different now. But yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, Cornerstone would be really cool to play. I wish it was still around.
I know, me too.
Dad played it in his old band, and so I've been as a little kid. Um, but I always see those old sets from some of my favorite bands
Yeah.
in that striped tent, and I'm like, oh man,
You
that
guys
was
got to play, you've played Audio Feed though, and I kind of feel
yes.
like in some ways Audio Feed is like maybe the new cornerstone. It just needs some more years. So,
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Yeah, it kind of like rose up out of the ashes of
Yeah.
Corner. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I keep
it's cool.
waiting. There was that one of those years a few years back that they were like Starflyer 59 is playing Audio Feed, and we were all like, "What? We've got to go!" And then it not didn't happen,
No,
which was so
did they
sad.
drop or something?
Yeah, yeah, that would have been incredible. Anyways,
So you guys, you made a big splash with your album Blurred Visions. Can you tell us a little bit about making that album?
Yeah. What do you want to know? I can tell you.
yeah, just like obviously you get signed to Tooth and Nail.
Yes.
You have this EP. Like, what kind of led you guys in? What you're thinking? All right, this is our first Tooth and Nail release. Like, what what was the pressure that you're feeling? And like, yeah, how do you feel about that one?
It wasn't like we didn't feel a lot of pressure from like Tooth and Nail. Um, but we went in very aware that like debut album is a trigger that you only get to pull once.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so we went in kind of like that was our pressure. We're like, this is our debut full length. Like we haven't done a full length yet. Um, and we want it to say something,
Mm-hmm.
to be powerful. And so that the pressure was kind of from ourselves. I think we put a lot of pressure on ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Not in like a like vindictive way, like you guys better not suck, or just like a like we really want to do
Mm-hmm.
we want to put out excellent music. We
Mm,
want to impress ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
mm.
that's what I would say.
That's cool. I feel like from a listener standpoint, Tooth and Nail seems like a band that there's a lot of creative freedom with bands. So
Mm.
is there any like parameter you're given where it's like you have to give us 10 songs or you have to give us at least one radio hit or something like that? Like is there like a checklist that's like, "Hey, we need you to provide us with this," or is it like we believe in you and just like go create what you guys want to create?
I mean, a little bit of both, but not what you think. Like
Mhm.
contractually, like we have to provide 10
Mhm.
songs. Like that's part of what is like us presenting to them a full record is at least 10 songs.
Mm.
Mhm.
But as far as like creative freedom goes, like we've never had anybody come
Mhm.
to and say to us like, we need you guys to chill out with the screaming. Like
Yeah.
never has that happened. We need you
Mhm.
guys to write catchy, like come on, like or they never said like or anything like that. Like we
Mhm.
need something more radio friendly. They just said like go make a record.
Gotcha.
You guys
So
sit in a really interesting spot for them because probably if some of your bandmates had their way, maybe you would end up being a solid state band instead of a tooth and nail band. But
I love that. That's hilarious.
you
Yeah.
pull things back a little bit across the line. And so being a tooth and nail band that plays the Shed at Furnace Fest is kind of a cool spot to be in, I feel like, in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So,
Like I said, man, that was one of the coolest moments of all of Idle
Mhm.
Threat. We're all just so pumped because everybody knows the Shed's the best stage at Furnace Fest.
I love the
It
pond personally, but
really.
I went to see a
That's
few of
the
my
one stage
faves in
we
the
haven't
Shed.
played. That's the one that we didn't get to play.
Yeah.
So yeah, we played the main stage first year, 2022. Well,
Mm.
not first year of the fest. First year we played.
Yeah.
2022, we played the main stage, and in 2024 we got to play the Shed, and that was awesome.
It's
So
really cool. Blurred Visions. So I think I found you guys a little bit before Furnace Fest as I started. I was excited about going to Furnace Fest, checking out some Tooth and Nail bands. And so but I missed the like front edge of Blurred Visions coming out.
yeah,
And one of the things that I was really bummed about is that for the longest time, I couldn't find that record on vinyl. Like,
yeah,
there was the printing and then it was gone and then couldn't get my hands on it. And actually one of our friends who's married to our kids director here at our church who went with us to Furnace Fest, like 3 months ago, like came in on a Sunday morning and said, "Hey, I've got something for you." And he like handed me a copy of it that he tracked down on the internet. And I was like,
Are you serious?
"Ah."
So cool.
I still don't even know where he found it, but I'm really thankful that I get to be on the front end on the new record. So I've already pre-ordered it, ready to go. But
Awesome.
yeah,
Go, dude.
that's fun. So speaking of that, then going into your kind of second record, this new one, You'll Forget the Sun, that's coming out. How do you guys feel? Like, do you feel like you're in a different spot as a band? Does it feel different, like recording your second full length with Tooth and Nail? Like, how was that experience?
Totally. It's totally different. Yeah, definitely feel in a different spot as a band. For Blurred Visions, we recorded up in New Jersey at
Hmm.
Barbershop Studios with Brett Ramnez. It was an absolute blessing. Rob Chirapa did a lot of work with us as well. Those guys are amazing. But since we were up in New Jersey, we like lived there for a month.
Mm.
We did the whole like we are in the studio for a month. Like we
Yeah.
lived there. We 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 slept in like this like makeshift shack apartment above an Italian restaurant across the street, and we lived there for a month. Um, and we were in the studio every day for a month, and it was really cool. This time is not like that at all.
Yeah.
Equally a blessing. We were Stephen Keys from Haste the Day. He recorded and produced the record. He lives in Nashville.
Hmm.
So we kind of did it like on our own time. We were able to take a little bit more time with it because we could go home every night.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so, which was great for us because honestly, not only is the band in different places, but uh, I feel like just us as people we're just in a different place than we were when we recorded Blurred Visions.
Mhm.
You know, Ernie is married and has a son now, and I got married in 2023, and
Mm.
two of the other guys in the band are in really serious relationships that I think might turn into marriages, and
Yeah.
another one of the guys in the band owns a house, and um, Ernie and I just bought a house recently, and not together. We don't live together. Um, but life is just different. It's
Mhm.
just we all got a lot more responsibilities now,
Hmm.
and making that balance is kind
Mhm.
of hard. So yeah, there's just so much that's different. But I also think that like it gave us more to draw from
Mhm.
this time when we wrote a record. Like it gave us deeper things to draw from, in all the ways that God has blessed us with more gifts and more responsibilities in our lives. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's not all a curse. It's just different.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but definitely it is very different for
Mm.
sure.
Mhm. What can we expect from this new record out on May 8th?
Good music. Yeah,
That
I
sounds
hope.
good.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is the best record we've ever written,
Hmm.
songs we've ever written. Um, yeah, um, I think you can expect um, some of our slowest stuff,
Hmm.
fastest stuff
Mm.
on this record. Again, yeah, I think this is some of the best stuff we've ever written. I really think that the theme of this record is a little bit more cohesive,
Hmm.
and you can expect us to write songs about deep struggles in life,
Hmm.
from a perspective that is about glorifying the Lord in the
Mm.
midst of it,
Mm.
which is sometimes hard to write about and sometimes hard to
Hmm.
do.
Mm.
That's cool. You know, you mentioned earlier you only get like one shot with your like debut album, and I
Yeah.
feel like it's almost like even your second album is sometimes like, like it can be a toss up because like the one of the bands we mentioned earlier, Jonesetta, like there are two albums they released. I always tell people that it feels like there's like 15 years in between them because it's like their first album, it's like if you're under 20, I feel like it's a perfect album for you. But then their second album that came out like what a year, maybe a year and a half later
Yeah.
is like just way more mature and less partying. It's almost like after college, like the songs that you need to hear. And so like, for me, like I loved both of them. And then for other people, they're like, no, we don't want that. We just want to dance. We don't want to So I feel like that's cool to see kind of the branching out of like how do you keep that, sound that people have come to love, but also how do you grow, and not just say let's just put out 10 more of what we did a couple of years ago.
You're putting a
Yeah.
lot of pressure, Brandon, on Zeke, bringing up the second Jones Zetter record right now.
Is that record really good? I don't know that record.
I think it's amazing. It's
Hmm.
my favorite record of theirs, but they promptly broke up like right after it, and their whole
Oh God.
career just tanked. So we're not calling that into existence.
Well, I was gonna bring
So
up that whole part of Joe Seta. Just
Oh,
the
those guys are friends of mine, though. So like, oh, but yeah, no, it's an amazing record. I can't wait for the new record. I'm super excited about it.
Mhm.
You mentioned a theme that's been going on through our conversation, but also something that I've just noticed from you is the idea of faith. And we were talking beforehand, Zeke, about how I met you at Furnace Fest about a year and a half ago. And
yeah.
our conversation after you guys played stuck out to me because you found out that I was a pastor and you took time to pull me aside and pray for me. And that has stuck with me since that moment. It really ministered to my heart. How do you keep as a guy in a band? I know how tough this is and difficult this is in any kind of music industry, but how do you guys keep faith as like a central part of what you're doing as a band? Why is that so important to you?
Um, well, I could just speak for myself personally.
Yeah.
I it's just it's everything to me. The Lord saved me when I was 13, and I basically, if there ever came a day where I was not allowed or able to sing about Jesus, I wouldn't be doing it anymore.
Mm.
Um, so it's just the most important thing. I like to sing about important things,
Mm.
and I can't think of anything more important to sing about than the Lord Jesus
Mm.
and how he saved me. There is nothing more important than where do you stand with the Lord.
Mm.
So yeah, like of course, like I write about like all kinds of things in life. Like I write about losing loved ones and write about there's a new song on the record about my wife, and
Mm.
it's kind of like a like a love song. Um, there's songs about times I've been through doubt in my faith,
Yeah.
but the one thing that stayed constant in all of it is Jesus.
Mm.
Um, Never leaves or forsakes me, even when I have left and forsaken him in my life. And I don't know how I could begin to do that now for music, which is something that he also gave me.
Mm.
Mhm.
So.
Man, that's
Does that make
powerful.
sense?
Yeah,
Hmm.
totally. And I think, I mean, you know this as well as we do. Like, it's hard sometimes watching. Like, um, you get a sense of how hard it is because you see some of your like heroes in music or bands that you've really looked up to that have like walked through hard seasons and gone through difficulty and struggled to find God at work in the midst of all those things or been hurt by people and for whatever reason they've kind of walked away from their faith and their belief. And I just know watching the music scene from the outside, and of course, as a pastor who's working with people who struggle with the same things, like how hard and difficult it is to continue to trust in the faithfulness of God when you see things like that happen. But man, I want to encourage you personally. Like, I'm thankful to see your heart for that and would just encourage you keep going because I think that your voice is such an important voice in the whole realm of music, but in this thing that we used to call Christian music too. So yeah,
Thank you. That's very encouraging. You know, it can feel it can feel pretty isolating,
yeah,
pretty lonely in places like that, where you're the minority, at least in a realm like that, you
yeah,
definitely, where the name of Jesus is not necessarily welcomed. Um, so, but I just, I just I'm so thankful that someone in my life was willing to tell me about Jesus,
mm,
even when I
Hmm.
wasn't necessarily welcoming it, and it changed my life forever.
yeah,
So, but it's hard, man. It is hard. The allure of the world and the praise of man,
mm,
very intoxicating.
Hmm.
And it snares many a believer away from Christ. And It just reminds me of something that Paul said in one of his epistles that, um, if I were seeking the approval of man, I would not be a servant of Christ.
mm,
Just kind of like basically saying well, yeah, if I wanted that, I wouldn't be a servant of Christ because that's the one thing I'm not going to get if I
mm,
serve
Yeah.
Christ. But that's not what I'm doing. Um,
Hmm.
so I just try to keep that first and foremost in my mind that the reason why I do this is not to hear people cheer for
mm,
me, you know. Um, but it's a constant thing. I have to stay focused because, yeah, it's hard.
yeah,
Uh, but I really appreciate the encouragement, man. Meeting people like you and getting to pray for people is it's like some of the best parts of it.
mm,
It really is.
yeah. I love it. I love it.
Well, so Zeke, whenever you look into the future, like what do you kind of see like on the horizon for Idle Threat or like for you, like in the music world?
Um, well, it's hard to look beyond the immediate future right now. Immediate future is put the album out,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah,
Put this album out. I mean, this like baby that we've been working on
Hmm.
that we're ready to release into the world. Um, that's kind of where all of our focus is.
Hmm.
Putting our energy into promoting it and getting it out there and praying that the Lord would use it in somebody's life to speak to them. Um, and then hopefully playing some shows to support
Hmm.
it this year. Um, and outside of that, we're not looking super beyond that.
Hmm.
Um, we know that we love writing music and we want to keep
Mm.
doing that. But as far as like specifics, Idle Threat's always been a band where we take things one step at a time.
Hmm.
Like we did not start the band with like this great dream that like we're gonna do this and that and this and that. It was literally just we just want to do this.
Hmm.
mm,
Let's just write a song. Like, okay, well, now let's write an EP. Okay, now let's go play some shows. Like, and
Hmm.
we just very much like one step at a time. And the Lord, one door at a time, has led us to where we are now.
mm.
So we're just focusing on the next door, really.
I was telling someone the other day that I was like, I'm really jealous of people who have like 5-year plans, because I was like, anytime
Right.
I've tried to plan, it's like last year I was trying to get a job. Like I left my job, was trying to get a job at these like at Publix. And the next thing I know, I got offered like a full-time marketing position for a senior center. I told people, I was like, that was not on my bingo card for like my
Yeah.
next. So I can
I
definitely
bet.
relate to like, yeah, we don't know what's in 5 years. We're just looking at May right now.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, yeah.
We don't
Usually
know.
whenever I come up with a plan like that, one, of course, it doesn't work out that
Mhm.
way. Then I end up back and go, why did I even make that plan?
Yeah.
Why did I even try? You know?
Mhm.
I think there's something biblical about that.
Yeah.
No one
Yeah.
should say next year I'll be in such and such city doing such and such thing. But
Mhm.
God's sovereign. He knows
Yeah, that's
exactly
right.
where he wants us. So,
Stewardship is good, but
Mhm.
planning out your life is a different
yeah.
thing.
Well, man, we really appreciate you jumping on with us and talking through this and just connecting. How can people connect with what you guys are doing right now? I know obviously you're pushing for this new record coming out. What are the ways that you would tell people, hey, come and find us here?
Dude, yeah. Definitely Instagram. Follow us on Instagram's Idle Threat Nash. Little Idle Threat NSH. Um, and then I mean we're on X, we're on Facebook. We did create a TikTok. None of us love that we did that. Well, like we should. But yeah, I mean, follow us on like Instagram. That'd probably be the best way. But more than anything, go find us on Spotify, YouTube Music, or Apple Music, or Amazon, or whatever it is. Title. I don't think anybody uses that anymore. But if you do, um, but yeah, find us on Spotify and listen to the music. And yeah, watch our socials, see if we're playing somewhere near you, and come see us. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
I encourage you guys to do it, especially check out the new stuff. I'm sure that would help them kind of running some numbers for this new record, but it's great. And I can't wait. Can't wait to get that one in my hands for sure. Zeke, man, thanks again for joining us. And if you ever want to play in Charleston, South Carolina, let us know and, we'll see what we can do to hook it up. So love to have you
Thank
guys.
you guys. Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, it is time for the lyric of the week.
It's time for the lyric of the it's time.
So, as y'all know, whenever we are not reviewing an album, we go into the archives of Starflyer 59 to choose a lyric. So, this week's comes from their song Red Tide off of I Am a CEO. There's peace to come, it won't be long. Trees of green, eternal song. I close my eyes and then I pray. The streets of gold, the pearly gates.
Come on, Jason. It's good stuff. I love it. I love it. All right. Well, guys, we are super thankful that you joined us today. Special thanks to Zeke from Idle Threat for hanging out with us. Hey, we would love it if you find us on all the socials. We are on Facebook at Hey, Are You Listening? You can find us on X. You can find us in lots of places. Share the podcast, subscribe to the podcast, leave us a review. We're just thankful that you're here for the journey and looking forward to the fun stuff that we have got ahead. So we'll see you guys next week.
Hey, are you listening? This ain't no quiet thing. We're screaming.